Hello music lovers, music geeks, and music freaks like me. My name is Caeser Pink.
Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Let your mama down. Baby, please.
Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a concert review of Descarte and Kant. But before we get started, please take the time to like and subscribe. It really helps us grow our channel. And our channel is a fundraising channel for a nonprofit organization called the Arete Living Arts Foundation. We promote arts and artists that let common people have their voice. We live in a time when almost all the art and music we hear is curated for us by corporations, and we think it's important that art is created by the common people, and that our voices are heard. But anyways, Descarte and Kant, as they pronounce it, they're also called DAC, but they're a band from Guadalajara, Mexico. A great band. I got into them just in the last year or two, and they played in Brooklyn near where I live a year or so ago. I went to see them at a small club, but last Thursday they played at a slightly larger club in Asbury, New Jersey. The club was called House of Independence, and they were not the headline act, so they played a shorter set. And I bought the ticket, I guess, a couple weeks ago, but then we had heavy snow here, and my car was plowed in. I thought I was going to have to skip the show. But luckily, on the day before the show and the day of the show, the sun came out and melted most of the snow, so at the last minute I decided to go. I left during rush hour, so it took me maybe 2.5 hours to get down to Asbury Park, and I parked, got into the club right as they were the second band of the night, but they were just coming out, fiddling with their equipment, getting ready to start. Very packed house. Now, because they had to play a shorter set, they only played music from their most recent album called After Destruction. It's a great album, a very interesting album. It's a concept album, and they pretty much perform the concept live. And the concept is kind of like, it's like a self-help computer program. And on stage, they have the computer, they call it the fifth member of the band, and the lead singer would type into this computer, and when I saw them previously, what you saw on the computer would be on the video screen behind the band, but for this show, they just had a smaller screen, I don't know, maybe 5 foot wide or something, that you would see the video on. So the show starts, the video comes on, the singer goes up and responds. The computer program is asking questions, and she responds, and it allows her to create some music. Basically, she gives a few prompts, picks out some instrument sounds, a theme, and then it creates the music for her, basically. I guess a type of AI. But the first clip I'm going to show is some of that opening where she's typing into the computer.
sistema se ha actualizado exitosamente. Esta es la tercera llamada. The system has been successfully updated. This is the third call. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, user. Introduce your password. You don't want to wake up today? Struggling to make sense out of the absurdness of life? Not knowing exactly how to move forward? Don't worry. Thanks for purchasing the new DAC. Now you can access the After Destruction program. Turning your pain into a work of art has never been easier. Select an option between creation or destruction. You have chosen to create. Access the composer mode. Make a great song in only a few steps. With our latest sampling and emulation technology.
Well, that's what I've got in the clip. So she picks out all the different instrument sounds, and then she picks out a title for the song that it's going to create for, and the title she chooses is Graceless. And then they begin and play the song. I'll play a little bit of that, and then we'll talk about the part of the lyrics that I want. So here you have Descarte and Kant playing Graceless. The singer's name is Drushka, and she's a great performer, and the whole band really has a lot of stage presence. But let's look at some of the lyrics from that song. I'll continue with the lyrics. One grows old, and life may seem pretty tasteless. Blood turns cold. Life can be increasingly graceless. As my feelings move from left to right, I stand still, lifeless in my storm. I try my best, but tonight my feet can't dance on this floor. It made sense to me. It's pretty strong stuff, pretty insightful, quite existential, and it ties in with the whole concept. The next song is called Woman Sobbing, and it's very interesting musically, very kind of stiff and clipped, but let's just listen to a minute of that. Now we got a little close-up of the drummer there, a really good drummer, and it's interesting in this one, rather than really carrying the rhythm, he seems to be playing on top of it. Of course, the guitar players are playing something very mechanical. To me, it sounds a little bit like some of Robert Fripp's work. I've heard other people compare it to Devo, but I think perhaps that might have to do more with the costumes they wear than how they actually sound. Let's look at the lyrics of this one quick. In a house, very, very small house, with a door closed, very, very closed. In a house, very, very small house, with a door closed, very, very closed. She cries it out. As she falls into her own faults, through the hole, through the rabbit hole. As she falls into her own faults, through the hole, through the rabbit hole. She cries it out. Very simple lyrics, but poignant. They get the point across of the narrator's suffering, even though she moves in and out of third and first person within the lyrics. Then they go to another interlude with the computer. Now, I think I only caught the tail end of this. The start of it, it's talking about things we do for pleasure and to get the good chemicals flowing in the brain. First, it talks about sex, but it also talks about, perhaps a night stand might leave you feeling cold or meaningless. Then it talks about drugs or alcohol. And then it talks about the problems that drugs and alcohol can cause. Then they move on to ice cream and say that can release some of the same pleasing brain chemicals. They also offer pets as a solution to give life more meaning. But then they say if you're not feeling like you want to take the responsibility of a pet, they offer different varieties of house plants that are easy to care for. But then they finally say, well, if even a house plant is too much responsibility, here are some puppy videos you can watch. But I think they started out that the program is also a kind of dating program, or maybe it's not that. Maybe it's that when they start off with sex, the computer's asking you to upload a selfie of your new partner, and then at the end it goes back to that. Do you want to upload a selfie? Do you want to upload a selfie? Which is kind of a reference to how social media is used to for our egos to make ourselves feel good, to present this positive face to the world. But let's take a look at that.
Before accepting, think it twice. What we get as a way to decompress can become a problematic coping mechanism. Do you want to upload a selfie? Do you want to upload a selfie?
You gotta keep going. You gotta hide like all this trash. Meaning the car seat, where no one knows.
Now I think this next song is called Raindrops of Poison. I'm not 100% sure, but one of the things it talks about is kind of making your life, like decluttering your life by hiding the garbage under the car seat, which is, it's like sweeping it under the rug. It's not really a solution, it's a very temporary solution. But let's listen to just some of that song.
Together,
Now, a few things about that clip and that song. I really like the way it's kind of going along as a rocker and then suddenly takes a turn to something a little bit more mellow. We got to see some close-ups of the bass player. Some people online make jokes about him. They say he looks like a Vulcan. One said, "Oh, it's great they're so inclusive. They even have a Vulcan in the band." And by Vulcan, they mean, I guess that's what Dr. Spock was on the Star Trek show. And now when they changed down to the slower part, it sounded like somebody hit a couple bad chords, or perhaps somebody had a string out of tune. But let's look at the lyrics for this, because that slow part really moved me when I first listened to it on the record, and her performance of it is really great. But it makes her sound very vulnerable, and there are certain things that she says that I just found very moving. Starting the beginning, "When she will get it together, will she come back just to haunt us? I'll meet you at midnight to take her. I'll meet you at midnight to save her. When he comes back just to haunt us." I'm sorry, I said that early. It's "when she will get it together, will he come back to haunt us?" Then she says, "Help me, I want to surrender. Help me, I want to protect her. Will he come back just to haunt us?" Again, I made a mistake. It's not haunt, it's hunt. Will he come back just to hunt us? Youth like time and a sand clock. I don't know what that means. Lilies drying around us. And then here's the part that really moved me. "I'll try to be a good girl. I'll try to be the best I can. I'll try to be a strong girl. I'll try to be the best I can." Seasons of boy love, candy and raindrops of poison. I feel really bad. I've been praying for the help of God. I feel really sad. I've been praying for the help of God. I've felt lonely for the last days, Mother. Things have not been good at all. I've felt lonely for the last years, Mother. And I wish I could jump into your arms. I wish I could jump into your arms. Now, all of that, I don't know, it just really got to me, the try to be a good girl thing, you know. I think there are still a lot of adults who, you know, as they strive in their life, they still have that voice in their head that they're trying to be good, but it's something they can never satisfy in themselves. They never feel like they're being good, that they're reaching the potential they hope. But then when she starts talking about basically speaking to her mother, I found that particularly moving, you know. I think maybe a lot of adults have moments where they don't want to be an adult, they don't want to shoulder the responsibility, and they wish that just for a minute they could jump into the arms of their parent and get some comfort from them like they did when they were a child. Now, next up is, again, I think it's just the end of one of the computer interludes. And it talks about the theories of a philosopher. I think his name is Byung-Chul Han. I think he's a Korean philosopher based in Germany. And he believes that every age in human civilization has certain neuroses, mental complexes that goes with it. And it talks about the feelings we have in this complicated age of being lost and seeking meaning. But let's listen to what I have of that.
Has its signature afflictions, neurological illnesses such as depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, borderline personality disorder, syndrome mark the landscape of pathology at the beginning of the 21st century. Would you describe your life as a catastrophe? In social networks, the function of friends is primarily to heighten narcissism by granting attention as consumers to the ego exhibited as a commodity. Would you describe your life as a catastrophe? I felt lonely for the last days, mother. Things have been not good at all. I felt lonely for the last years, mother, and I wish I could jump to your arms, and I wish I could jump to yours.
So yes, at the end of it, she repeats those fast couple lines where she's speaking to her mother. It's a cappella, but she has an effect on her voice. I forget what the effect is called at the moment. Tawny, my cat, is clawing the carpet behind me. And then the next track is After Destruction, which is sort of the last real song of the album. It's also sort of the most popular song from the album. It was the first video they released. That's how I got into them. I stumbled onto it and found it very interesting and very fun. But let's check out After Destruction.
Certainty.
Well, that's After Destruction. Let's talk about that song. Now, I mentioned that people compared them to Devo, and that's probably from the music video for this song. And I was watching it, I just realized during the verses it has the same drum beat as Devo's hit song, Whip It. But I think more of an influence in this song is actually St. Vincent, who is a female guitarist, great songwriter, great performer. And the guitars the two women are playing are both St. Vincent's signature guitars. And when they go to the guitar solo, that tone that they're using sounds like a St. Vincent guitar tone, which is a very unique thing. I also think the structure of the song is interesting. Even though it's a little pop song, it's kind of got some prog structural elements as well. Goes through the two verses pretty normally. Then the guitar solo, which has some surprises in it. And then it goes back to the verse, but it's suddenly become more electronic. The bass player is playing the keyboard over there. And then when you think it's going to end, it suddenly goes into kind of like this industrial, maybe 6-8 time signature, boom, 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 and then takes one more turn just before it fades out. A very interesting song, but also very interesting lyrics. Let's go look at those. Okay, the lyrics are, "We are in certainty, searching for certainty. If the world wants to break, I'll scream. Sob with ecstasy, my dreams left me. If the world wants to break, I'll scream." Then I think this is the chorus. "There will be creation after destruction, you'll see. There will be creation after destruction, you'll see." Now that's a very interesting concept. I mean, famously, Malcolm McLaren, the manager of the Sex Pistols, said about punk, "Sometimes you have to destroy to create." And the early punk movement was seen as a rebirth of the original spirit, the original emotion and simplicity of rock music, kind of taking away all the seriousness, the complexity, the kind of pomposity of prog rock music, and getting it back to basics. Now, this idea of death and rebirth is also one of the most common themes in mythology throughout human history, throughout every culture. Even, the great mythology of Western civilization, the death and birth of Christ is another example of that. But mythology is full of gods who die and then are born again. And I think that has a parallel in both modern spirituality and modern psychology. I think psychiatrist Carl Jung, he had a word for it. I forget what it was, and maybe Freud had a different word for it, but it really is about becoming self-aware, rather than just living your life with the beliefs that you were programmed with as a youth, from your parents, from teachers, from society, in our modern lifestyle, from media, and trying to take responsibility and choose your values and beliefs through logic and rational thinking and making moral decisions for yourself. And that actually has a parallel in Eastern religion. Seeking enlightenment is sort of that process, dissolving the ego and trying to exist in the modern world aware that everything, that nothing is static, everything is temporary. And now as we go to the end, it ends with one more computer section, and then they put on these like bubble helmets with neon lights in them, and I believe they called them their enlightenment bubbles. But what you hear from the computer, and I'm not sure if I got this on tape, is that, you know, she made it through the program, she's supposed to be renewed, but her brain is once again giving her doubts and causing problems. The problems are coming from within herself. So the program invites her to start again and go through the entire program anew. But let's watch that last little clip.
Programming your mindset for success is key to making things happen. With the new Enlightenment Bubble accessory, you can choose from 37 mindsets that will prepare you for an inspiring life. Whether you're a natural pessimist or are currently stuck in a rut. Easy to use. You are now ready to start succeeding. Have fun. Have fun. The system has detected you are creating problems in your head again. To access our healing program, press start. Welcome to our healing program. This program has been created to provide to you the necessary sense to start moving again. To conquer your flaws, you must first accept them. Falling apart gave you the opportunity to rebuild yourself. Be proud of your progress. Moving in slow motion is better than moving in no motion. Don't give up. Trust the process. That which does not kill you makes you stronger. Release all negative thoughts and all worries about the future. Is this world really as sad as it seems? Sunsets are proof that everything can be beautiful. Would you like to restore your faith in humanity? Press restart and heal.
Well, there you have it. That was Dak, or Descarte and Kant. I urge you to check them out. They are a really great band. They're not that popular yet, but hopefully that will happen. Now, I told a friend of mine that I thought this album was a modern Dark Side of the Moon. And he was so incredulous about that. He was really offended by it. And I bet a lot of other people would too. But I think this album is the most cohesive concept album that I've heard in decades. It deals with a lot of the same existential themes that Dark Side of the Moon deals with, but it does it within a context of our modern era, what we're dealing with now with social media and AI and the complexity of civilization. And it's very, very deep and very, very incisive. There's a little bit of humor in there. Very creative music. She has a very unique voice, which I've grown to love. And I urge you to check them out. Check out their most recent album, After Destruction. And again, my name is Caesar Pink. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for visiting my channel. Let me know whatever thoughts you have down in the comments. I really like to hear what the community is thinking. And hope to see you again soon. Thank you.